the series of Angular web application from scratch. In the previous videos of this series, we have seen how to initiate an Angular 16 project at Bootstrap styling. I added this registration page and the login page. We set up the server, Node Express, Mongo, TypeScript server, and the server contains the login, registration, and the to-do card APIs. So we integrated the login and the registration API. User can log in and see the dashboard here. We integrated this header name and it's showing the logged in username. We also have the logout. You can check the link of the full playlist in the upper right corner. In the previous video, we designed this to-do page where user can create a to-do and can see the added to-dos here, and he can check uncheck to-dos. So I recently added this to-do card APIs in our backend. You can check the link of this video in the upper right corner. So this is our project repository. You can see the my demo is our Angular project. Here we have the Angular code base, whatever we built so far. And next we have the server. Inside server, we have the Node, TypeScript, Mongo. I will provide the link of this repo in the description. You can pull both and you can set up. If you already set up the server, you have to pull the changes from the server. Today we'll integrate the create to-do API and the listing to-do API in our Angular project. So let's get started. So if you see the project in my Visual Studio Code, my demo is our Angular project, which is running on HTTP localhost 4200, and the server is running at localhost 3001. And if you already pull the server, you just have to pull the latest changes by go to the server directory, and inside server directory, Node, TypeScript, Mongo, just enter this command git pull. It will pull the latest changes, and I added some node packages. You just have to install those dependency by npm i, and next you have to run the server in the development mode by npm run dev. I added also the open API spec, the Swagger documentation of the APIs present in the server. You can see those APIs and try it out on the Swagger UI. So the link is localhost 3001/API docs, and here is our API, the auth API, registration, and the login, and we already integrated in our Angular app. And the create to do API and the get to do list API we will integrate today. So I will go to the Angular project and we'll add the service to get the list of to-dos and create to-dos. Just like our auth service, we will add the to-do services here. So I will go to the directory, my demo, and the command is the ng generate service. Inside services folders, I will add the to-do service. You can see the to-do services added. Now from the auth service, I will copy those contents which is necessary for the to-do service. So I added the two service, the create to do service and the list to do service. Now I will go to the to do component, and in the to do component.ts I will call those services, and I will make the necessary changes in the to do component.html. We don't need the new to do. The to do will be created from the to do component. I will add the model for the to do first, then I will add the services in the to do component.ts. So here the to do's component, it's the class representing the to do Angular component, and here I define the to do's. This will hold an array of to do items, and it may be undefined until it's assigned. That's why we have this case mark. And next we have the ng on init lifecycle hooks. So this ng on init will be called when the component is initialized. In this hook we have the this get to do list to fetch the to do list. Here the get to do list method is used for the to do service to fetch the to do list. You can see it's listing, and subscribe to the observable returned by the list method here. So if I go to the list here, so it's returning response and error. So here is fetching the response, and successful response, it assigns the to do's array into this our local to do's array, and if there is error, it will printing in the console. Next, currently in the HTML we have this hard-coded value, so I will remove this hard-coded value. I will apply the ng for, and the to do's will be looping through to listing the to do items here. So we added the new to do component, but not in the app module.ts. The first have to remove from the app module.ts. Next, so in the new to do component, app routing module.ts, we also have to remove. Next, it's compiled successfully. So here in the ng container, I am checking the to-dos is truthy or its length is greater than 0. If the condition is met, it renders the content inside the ng container. And next we have this ng for loop. You can see it's iterate over the to-dos array and create a list item for each to-do. Here the list item for each to-do. And next we have this check to-do is done. This one. So this binds the check property based on the instance property of the to-do. So whenever the to-do is done, we will record this in the servers, and if is done is true, then it will be checked. And the class completed, we also have the class completed. Basically, will strike through the items. This is the CSS class. Next, in the else block, we have this ng template. This is the template reference for the else block. So if the to-dos is not present and to-dos length is 0, then it will print the no record found in the alert info. So now I will show you this HTML page in the browser. More thing I want to check if it's successfully making the HTTP request or not. If I log out and if I log in, so login is successful, but the to-do is getting the 404 not found. So here is the 3001 to-dos, but we have the /API/to-dos. So the endpoint is wrong. We have to correct the endpoint first. It will be /API/to-dos. Now we are getting the different error, the 401 unauthorized. If you check the request header, we don't have the token here to make this request. So we have to add the interceptor in our Angular application so that after login, every request made to the servers can contains the authorization token in his header. Now I will add the HTTP interceptor service in our Angular application. Just like the to-do service, ng generate services interceptor or the HTTP interceptor. So basically in Angular, an HTTP interceptor is a service that can intercept and handle HTTP requests and responses globally before they are sent to the server or received by the application. Interceptors provides a way to modify or augment HTTP requests and responses, perform authentication, handle errors, or add custom headers. Angular HTTP interceptor is implemented as a service that can be injected into the application HTTP processing pipeline. Interceptor are defined using the HTTP interceptor interface. Next, I will go to the interceptor, HTTP interceptor service.ts, and I will add the necessary HTTP interceptor things here. Here the HTTP interpreter service class implements the HTTP interceptor, to requiring the implementation of the intercept method. You can see the intercept method took two arguments: the HTTP request, the representing the outgoing HTTP request, and the next instance of the HTTP request, or the HTTP handler representing the next handler in the HTTP request. And this method returns the observable, allowing you to handle the HTTP event stream. And the request modification, we clone the request used to create a new request, and the authorization header is set to include the bearer token retrieved from the local storage. So if you check the log auth service.ts, after successful login, you are storing the token in the local storage, and here the HTTP interceptor fetching the token and appending to the header and modify the request. And next is passing this modified request to the next handler in the chain using the return next handle. Next we have to configure the module in the app module.ts. Next I will go to the app module.ts and configure this HTTP interceptor. Here basically provide specify the injection token, the HTTP interceptor that will be used to identify the provider. Next we have the use class, the HTTP interceptor service is to be instantiated when an instance of the HTTP interceptor is requested, and the multi-true that indicates the provider is a multi-provider. This is necessary because the HTTP interceptor is a multi-provider token. So by configuring this module with this provider, so I am telling Angular to use the HTTP interpreter service as an interceptor for the HTTP request globally. So when an HTTP request is made in our application, Angular will now automatically use this HTTP interceptor service and will add the token in the header from the local storage. Now we'll check from the browser. Now we'll test from the beginning, from the login. You can see the login we requested. For the login, we don't have any token, but for the to-dos, it's success, and you can see the BRR tokens added here in the authorization as the authorization header, and inside our application we have the same token inside the local storage. So we successfully added the HTTP interceptor in our Angular. Next we will integrate the API, the create Todo API. So you can see we encountered an error where the type event is not assignable to the type string. So here the Angular does not recognize the ng model directive to use the two-way data binding with the ng model. I need to ensure that the forms module imported in our Angular module. So I'll go to the app.module.ts, and here I can see the forms module is not imported. So I will import the forms module here. And you can see it's compiled successfully. Now I'll test the to-do creation if it's able to successfully create the to-do and list it here. So I have few to-do items like the print bills. So I'll edit. So you can check the to-do successfully created, but it's not appearing here. So I have to investigate. Can't bind to the inch foreign. So here you can see it will be off instead of in. So you can see it's coming now, the print bills. Next to do item we have the buy groceries for the next week. I will add it, and you can see it's added at the top, buy groceries for the next week. I will add more, and I will open the developer console to see if it's making the network call or not. So I'll paste and I will add. So you can see it's successfully added, and there is two calls, 201 created and 200 get the list of the to-dos. So first one, the to-dos, it's the 201 created. This is the post call. This is the post call. Next is the get call to get the list of these to-dos. So we successfully integrated the APIs to create to-do items and listing the to-dos. So that's it for this video. I hope you like the video. If you like the video, please hit the like button. Please share my video and please subscribe to my channel. And please also stick to this series. I will add the more APIs like the check uncheck to-dos and delete to-dos in this series, and we will explore more. We will find how we can add the more features here in this Angular app, also in the backend. So thank you.